So we're talking about The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1, called Chapter 17, The Apostate. And so coming into this season, you weren't very excited for it because you felt like narratively they'd gone everywhere they could go with Season 2. It's also funny because if you skipped Boba Fett, you have no idea how Jin and Grogu got back together. They're just together.
You have no idea. Also, you have no idea why he's flying a Naboo starfighter.
Yeah, why is he flying the thing from
What
Naboo?
What the fuck? That thing is silver. It's interesting because it looks exactly like
that
the
Anakin?
big ship, but, because silver, but it's like the small yellow ones, bruh.
Anyway, so yeah, you weren't excited about it just narratively because you felt like they told the story they could tell with Grogu and Jin.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly wasn't like super excited for this season, but I never really I watched the trailer, but I never got into the hype behind it. I was just like, yeah, I'll watch it when it comes out. Like I
don't think I've watched one trailer.
Like The Mandalorian is something of one of the things from the Disney Star Wars that I really, really like. I enjoyed it. And by the way, the people that are pitting Andor against this show are stupid. Okay, you can enjoy both, and it's silly to compare them because they're two separate stories inside.
I'm more excited for Andor season 2 than I was for season 3. Mando, but even after seeing the first.
But that's what I'm saying is like they're achieving two different goals. They're two different things.
Right. You can't,
and you can you know what? That's fine that you prefer Andor over the Mandalorian. There's nothing wrong with that.
And
I hate this pitting things against each other.
To be really brutally honest, some people are like, well, it's okay to compare Nirvana and Foo Fighters because Dave Grohl was in both bands. It's okay to compare Andor and Mando because they're both in the Disney Star Wars. No, it's really not. I mean, no, I'm saying
no, I know what you're saying. Exactly. It's like
you can't. Nirvana is great
by the way,
on its own, and so is Foo Fighters.
By the way, I enjoyed Andor. I'm the opposite of you. I enjoy The Mandalorian more, and I'll explain that while we talk about this episode.
I'm just now, when you told me, when you reminded me what was going to happen and what was about to happen in the story, like that kind of reminded me, like, oh, cool, maybe it is kind of getting cool. But then within 5 minutes of the first episode,
let's just get into the episode.
Yeah.
So
it's destroyed. It's gone.
There's going to be more to that, you know that.
Is there?
Yes.
Is there, Jake?
Because why would they keep talking about Mandalore if they don't actually have a plan for it? Anyway. But the reason I like this, and I think I've always, look, again, I liked Andor. I think Andor was great, and it was fun to see a different approach to Star Wars. And also,
plus Stellan Skarsgård is just a fucking
beast. They found an interesting way to make a prequel compelling because we know what happens. We know what happens to Cassian Andor. We know he dies in Rogue One. Like we know that's gonna, but it's still compelling. It's still a story.
It's like what we talked about, like with Obi-Wan and everything, and Leia and Obi-Wan. Like we know there's no stakes because we know they make it to a certain point, right? But you can still make it compelling.
I think they did it more effectively in Andor because Andor's a lesser known character.
Your beard's looking really nice today.
What?
Your beard's looking really nice today.
That's weird. Anyway, but the reason I like The Mandalorian more than Andor, or why if you were going to compare them, or why I feel like I'm enjoying this, even though I really, really liked Andor, this feels more like the classic Star Wars, in my opinion. Like if
you look at it from that way, it's pretty cool.
Well, no, it does because, in my opinion,
your opinion ain't
it does this thing that Star Wars I've always liked, and it always does, is it really does a great job of balancing the silly and the goofy with a little bit more nuance in storytelling. Look, if people are complaining this is too cheesy, I understand.
Is that what the criticism is?
No, but I'm sure there will be people. But I want to point you to go watch Star Wars. Star Wars has a lot of cheesy, silly moments.
Yeah, they do. When does new episodes come out, by the way?
Wednesdays.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's why I liked it. Like the pirate stuff, little half-baked with their ideas on that. However,
maybe
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the climax of that storyline because it does feel like classic swashbuckling stories.
It was a pretty cool battle.
But anyway, yeah, so let's get into the story itself, where we're at, because I don't know if we should how do you want to approach this? Because I don't want to do like beat for a beat, let's break down the whole episode, but I do want to talk about a lot of elements of it, because I think there's a lot of interesting things. Why don't we just
talk about the elements you want to talk about?
I do like the first scene is cool, because I wanted to get what your thought on this, because I was watching it with Ashley, and I was like, for a minute, two things are going through my head because we had this thing with the armor brings out this smaller Mandalorian helmet. So two things are going through my head. One, it's like, okay, is this going to be like a tiny little helmet for Grogu? Because that would be adorable. And then an actual thought was, is this going to be like a flashback to?
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, that's what I really. But in my as a joke, I was like, are they going to put it on Grogu?
Hey, John. Now far be it from me to question anything that you've written, because to be honest, like, you've written way more better shit than I probably ever will. But I do gotta ask you, how exactly do they ever get that fucking ceremony done if there's giant fucking water lizards in that lake all the time?
Stop it.
No, come on, man.
Stop it.
Really?
Stop it.
And if there are, why do you take it so long?
What about why would Yoda train Luke in the fucking swamps of Dagobah?
I don't fucking know.
Then exactly, shut up. No, that's such that's silly to me.
What?
That's a silly because
I'm all about plot holes.
Yeah, I know. And it like you can, if you want to do that, you can. But I feel like that scene was fun.
It's
you cannot
it's a shallow way to manufacture action.
What?
Yes, you manufactured an action scene.
Star Wars does that all the time. Every Star Wars movie does that.
I just did not really.
That's
was
hey, you know what? Again, a fair criticism.
Yay, a bunch of Mandalorians are somehow getting killed by a giant fucking lizard when they got armor and jetpacks.
Tyler, listen. I understand.
After 5 minutes, let's take to the
Jesus
air.
Christ, dude. I'm trying to fucking have a conversation.
Right?
I'm trying to talk to you.
I'm trying
to talk to you. I am agreeing with you on this point.
No.
Here's what I'm trying to say. This is the push and pull you have as a viewer, right? Because your criticisms are fair. I think you're right. It is. I will tell you this. It does.
On my beard.
It does feel like Favreau and company were like, okay, this is a slow build. We need a set piece, right? So I think that's a fair criticism, but as a viewer, you can either look at it as, okay, that seems like it's like how you viewed it, but as how I viewed it is, I like it. It's silly. It's over the top, but if
you look at it like as a bunch.
Hold on, real quick.
Okay.
I think you and I view Star Wars differently.
We do.
Very differently.
We have to.
Right. You like the more serious approach to Star Wars, and I like the more silly approach to Star Wars. Go ahead.
Look,
I keep interrupting you.
Well, no, you're fine. We need to, be able to say our piece. Like, okay, if you're looking at it as just like, hey, here's a bunch of fucking Mandalorians fighting something. All right, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
But honestly, you kind of made the Mandalorians look like jackasses.
Did you see the size of that
After
thing?
5 minutes, let's take to the air. You have fucking jetpacks. What are you doing? Hey, let's all hook cables to him so that when he rolls, that is fucking smart, dude. Also, do you remember how season 2 opened with the crate dragon?
Yeah. So again, this happens in Star Wars all the fucking.
How did season 1 open? Was it a giant fucking creature in season 1 too? It fucking was, wasn't it? In the ice, almost swallowed up the Razor Crest, right? Huh?
It's
it
Star
was,
Wars.
wasn't it?
You gotta have monsters in it.
Oh my god, I'm done with you, Star Wars.
No. But
no, I honestly didn't hate it. It just
no. But what you're complaining about is stuff that's been a mainstay in one, storytelling, and two, Star Wars. You have to have fodder there for this thing, for this enemy to be formidable. So when the Mandalorian shows up to kill it, you had to be like, "Whoa, he's fucking rad, dude." It's his,
right.
It's his show. Remember that. It's his show.
Understood. But you have yet to show me how badass Mandalorians are.
But we know the Mandalorian, right?
Sure. But every other one is. I'm sorry.
Every
other one is a jackass from what I can see.
The first season they had a cool scene where they helped him in the first season when he was fighting off the Empire because he kidnapped Grogu back. Remember?
Yeah.
So that was a good scene. But again, I understand the criticism. What you're trying to say is you need to make the group of people more formidable if you're going to build up to, because I think what they're trying to build.
If you're going to make them these legendary fucking warriors and shit,
Well,
man, I haven't seen it yet in the fucking Star Wars universe.
What I think they're building.
Even Boba Fett in the original trilogy isn't that big of a fucking deal. He just gets lucky a couple times, and he gets taken out.
He's not even a Mandalorian.
He gets taken. Okay, fine, but he gets taken out by a fucking blind dude with a fucking thing. Oops. And now I'm in a Sarlacc. I like Boba Fett a lot better now that he's been in The Mandalorian. But then again, didn't we not have the same criticism about Book of Boba Fett? And again, didn't we say it back then? There better be fucking 3 episodes of strictly Boba Fett shoehorned into this fucking season of Mandalorian.
So. They better be.
But that was my big criticism. Look, if you're going to do a Boba Fett show, do a Boba Fett show.
Yeah.
Don't try and shoehorn. You know how I knew a comic was not selling well back in the 90s?
When they would put like Spider-Man in it.
Spider-Man's there
Batman
for no reason. And Punisher. Yeah.
We talked about this last week, the Batman rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you know. And so you're like, okay, wait a second. So, and I feel like, I mean, I know you can't make those 3 episodes of The Mandalorian that quickly. But didn't it feel like they put those episodes of The Mandalorian centric Book of Boba Fett in right when people were getting really bitchy about the Boba Fett show?
Yeah.
Didn't it feel like that? Like, oh, okay, here's some Mandalorian. Shut up.
Yeah, for 2 weeks straight.
So,
again, you know what made me laugh about those episodes in the Book of Boba Fett? That could have been 2 episodes in season 3. And the premiere could have been like the 3rd episode of this season, honestly.
Right.
Because, you could have just made a 4-episode miniseries of the Boba Fett thing. Or you could have made it a fucking Disney Plus movie. I don't care.
I know better.
That's another thing that frustrates me. Why has it been 4 years since we've seen a Star Wars movie in a cinema? Like, what the fuck are we doing? We need to be putting that shit back in theaters, okay? First of all. Or second of all, if you're going to do something with Boba Fett that you want to do either, like we said, commit to that or make a movie. But that's neither here nor there. I think that I think the problem is too. I don't know.
Star Wars Legos, you're fucking laying down on the job too.
But back to the
what I've seen coming out this year.
Back to what you were saying about Mandalorians. I do hope that they take steps throughout this season. Because they're clearly, to me, building to a civil war between Bo-Katan and Din.
See, as the episode went on,
Din or
I
Jin?
liked it. Din Djarin.
Yeah, so it's between those two.
I liked the rest of the episode. It's just, to me, like, it was just one of those, like, look, man. Okay, as a storyteller, he's got a fine line to walk because it's season 3. And it's the first episode. So on one hand, he's got to be
the show has been 3 years now.
He's got to be saying to himself, every storyteller has to be saying to themselves, okay, I want to make sure that the people who've stuck with me this long get rewarded by the story, and that it's a good story for them. But I also want to make sure that people who might be trying to jump on can follow it pretty easily. And that's the tightrope that you walk, I think, as a television like producer and writer and stuff like that. Yeah. So I get like, that they kind of had to put that set piece in front in case somebody had never seen The Mandalorian and they were starting there, which I fucking highly doubt.
Yeah, I don't look, man, I don't necessarily buy into the Stan Lee adage of like everybody has a first issue or something. I don't necessarily think that's true nowadays.
Yeah, but the way he did it wasn't like that.
No, but what I'm saying, I understand where you're trying to come from too. But they're also trying to do something that gets people excited again. I think because it's like, wow, we haven't had this show out for 2 years now.
And to be fair, there weren't a whole lot of set pieces in Andor.
No,
if set pieces is your thing, which isn't my thing. But
again, that's the thing.
Whatever.
You and I are viewing Star Wars differently, and that's what's the beauty of fandom is we can have these two things exist.
No, I'm gatekeeping.
And the episode, you just said you don't think the episode itself is bad.
No, I enjoyed it more, and like when I was like that's a Mandalorian castle, I'm like, fuck yeah! I got out my air guitar like no. When
it
was awesome, dude.
When he
tasty licks
fucking guns down those pirates. That
was okay.
I will say some of the criticisms. The pirates, again, are just like this half-baked kind of idea that they don't necessarily deliver on.
Yeah, but the dogfight was pretty cool. Even though they
fight in the asteroid,
they pretty much got their asses kicked, but it was pretty cool.
The asteroid field fight was pretty cool. But there are some criticisms that they're saying that Din is too overpowered in this episode. He's too overpowered this season. I'm like, you guys, it's his show.
Mm-hmm. Also,
you don't look. I do hope that later on throughout the season he deals with some challenges and he gets beaten because that's what you want.
Yeah.
But at the same time, his name's on the fucking marquee. You're gonna make him look good.
Do you remember HR Puffin stuff? You know that cartoon back in the 70s, or it was like a live action kids show, and they were like life size puppets and shit.
I didn't watch.
Okay,
I wasn't alive.
What's up with the pirate captain being a fucking reject from HR Puffin
You know what?
stuff, dude?
He looked
what
like
the
he looked like a
What was that?
chia pet.
Right?
I love it. That's Star Wars, man.
Oh my god.
You can't tell me that. Go back and watch Star Wars and tell me there aren't some goofy looking.
If you're gonna go
costumes.
goofy cool.
He looks like
goofy stupid.
He looks like
goofy cheap. It looks goofy cheap. It doesn't look goofy on purpose.
He looks like a fucking. They look like it's a mix between Jabba the Hutt, or Pizza the Hutt from Spaceballs, and like a chia pet. You know, that's kind of what I got. And a Christmas tree because it kind of looked like a Christmas. But dude, that's the thing is people are.
I'm just tired of it.
This is the I can understand criticism in a sense that it's a mishmash of styles because you have elements where it's the classic Mandalorian, which kind of like the Western, and he's like into town. He's like, I'm not going to be your lawman, you know, whatever, and he does a quick draw like, bah, 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 bah. And then you got the sci-fi dogfights in space that I fucking love. That was an awesome scene and
pretty fucking
awesome.
cool, man. It's
really
fights.
like that, like. And it's just, and again, it was fun to see him outsmart them and outfly them and be, you know. But then, yeah, so you run into this mishmash of styles when things are very serious when he's talking to Bo-Katan. But then you also have, before that, he's dodging this really fun dogfight and this really cheesy, like, swipe transition. Which, by the way, we get it. It's a mainstay in the series. But I get why some people are done with, like, the fucking weird Windows Movie Maker effects.
To be really honest, I can't get enough of the swipes.
Okay, thank God. I thought you were gonna say no,
dude,
but I'm in.
No, dude, the original trilogy was all of that is followed from the way they kind of had to do things back then with the technology available to them, and wipes were like an easy transition for editors and stuff. So
I mean, I liked it sometimes. Like after the pirate scene, I loved it then because it worked well.
You want to talk about goofiness and seriousness going together, embodying Star Wars? You know what embodies Star Wars to me? The fucking the circle wipe.
It's Windows Movie Maker transition
and the left to right wipe
I don't know.
the up and down wipe.
For the most part, I like.
Give me
them.
some wipes.
For the most part, I like.
I ain't talking from my butthole.
But there's sometimes where I'm like, okay, let's just jump to the next
I got to say butthole.
Let's just move along. But
I gotta have the wipes.
But the Pirate King wipe is
sometimes toilet paper doesn't do the job, Jake. Sometimes you need some wipes.
I just hope they do something else with the pirates because right now the pirates are just like this like fodder for unless it's supposed.
Haven't they already had that in Mandalorian like a bunch of times though? But fodder.
But I'll only allow it. Listen, I'll only allow it in the court of this show. I will only allow it if
we call it an order OPOT. OPOT night court.
OPOT court. OPOT.
Judge Abby Stone.
I'll only allow it if they are used for fodder, but it's comedic purposes. If it's they take the piss out of him, the more he they already have done. He kills every one of them, but that one guy in the alleyway, and then he kills all of them except that one guy in the firefight. And then when they're like, "We got him," he just goes right past him. So I feel like if they keep using it for comedy, I think it's gonna make more sense. But for a first episode, overall, I really, really enjoyed this first episode.
I give it a B. Solid B.
I give it 4 Grogus out of 5 Grogus.
I give it 3.5 Grogus. 3 Grogus.
Well, now I'm gonna change and put 5 Dins out of 5 Dins. So now
I'm gonna do 9 Dins out of 5 Dins.
I would give it, if we were to give it a letter grade, I would give it, for me, an
solid B.
An A-. I really enjoyed it. I feel like
that's almost a B+.
I feel like you are so anti. You're gonna come around. I feel like it. I could feel it in my bones. I still don't understand.
What?
I do. I will tell you this: the whole Mandalore's kind of destroyed thing kind of sucks. But
I'm sure that you're right.
They're gonna work around it, and they're gonna figure a way to make them come back to Mandalore somehow. Whatever. Anyway, that's our review. Mandalorian season 3, episode 1. Review. Tyler, I got some bad
What's
news.
the theme song again?
What for? What?
Mandalorian.
Man, cats. Still got a whip in there. Ride 'em up, high. And that's the theme.
Oh, the Mandalorian. You think the
Tyler, let's-
Bonanza? Off panel, off topic with Jake and Tyler.